the Minecraft movie. It's been anticipated for so long, and people were hating on it the moment it got announced. And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those haters, and I was throughout the marketing process. I remember when the first trailer came out, it looked awful. So of course I had to see it. I mean, just out of curiosity, because it looks so insane to me. I mean, you give Jack Black all this power, you add in these random group of people, it feels like a random assortment of just famous actors who've had a good run. I expected this movie to be terrible, and I enjoyed a Minecraft movie a lot more than I expected for a number of reasons. The huge overarching thing is Jack Black. I mean, he leads this movie. He carries this movie, one might say. And while he's right on the edge of annoying and entertaining, I think he leans a little more on the entertaining side. And I'm not even a huge Jack Black fan, but he is at his most Jack Black here. It's very obvious that there was little to no character to Steve. They said, hey, just do Jack Black in the last 10 Jack Black movies you've done, and it's done. I mean, he randomly speaks Spanish, he has to burst into song, that kind of stuff, and it's so unbelievably tongue-in-cheek and goofy and just over the top that you just admire it, because at least I did, because it was never trying to hide that it is that kind of movie. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I enjoyed it, because at the very start of this film, it opens with Jack Black doing his thing, him explaining that he yearned for the mimes. And right from the get-go, you kind of get the sense that this movie is going to be so silly and goofy. Every single actor is going to act so over the top and cliche, and it's consistent throughout the movie. It has this silly tone. And I think, to me at least, that's one of the most important things about any movie. If it's consistent in its tone, and it feels like one cohesive thing, because that way it doesn't make me want to check my phone. And this was a perfect example. Of course, I never thought this movie was realistic in any sense, of course, but because it's so consistent, I never bothered to check my phone, because I was on track with this movie. I wanted to see what happens next, even though it's a children's movie, you know who's gonna win. It was entertaining throughout. I'm not a huge fan of Jason Momoa. A lot of times I feel like Jason Momoa is falling into this camp where he's just playing himself, or slightly altered version of himself. But I feel like he did a great job in this movie. The film never tries to make him a serious character, except for one moment when there's an emotional scene, which I also enjoyed, because I thought, wow, you know, there's a lot of these kids movies that when they have that emotional moment, it doesn't hit. And I'm not saying this like made me cry or anything like that, but I think it talked about something serious, because it has this overarching theme about growing up and how being an adult sucks, and being a creative child, all this stuff. And maybe I am looking too deep into it, but my point is that there's a lot of effort put into this movie. And Jason Momoa's commitment to this goofy character is one of the strongest selling points for me. Also, his chemistry with Steve was amazing. It was freaking hilarious from the start. I mean, the moment they meet, they're bumping heads because one wants to be the leader. Both of them want to be better than each other, but at the same time they admire each other, and it's really funny to see them interact, and how Jason Momoa's character is like, he's like this overly macho guy who's obviously compensating for, the inadequacies of his life, and Steve is just this man-child, and they're both man-children in different ways, but they have their own sense of comedy. So seeing them interact is hilarious, man. And sometimes slapstick is really good. The slapstick comedy in this is, in a way it's cheap, but it landed for me, man. It was cracking me up. I mean, the way, the typical stuff where someone misses and they accidentally knock someone else out, I thought they did it in such a funny way. A lot of times when there's characters monologuing in front of a green screen, it's very obviously a green screen, because there are these moments where it's a scene outside and the sun's directly over them and the light is like shining their hair, so they're like, it has that halo effect on their hair. But then there's like this huge drop of shadow on their face, and it doesn't look like they're actually there, because according to the scene, they're out in the open. So the sun is directly over them, and it's not like their head is casting a shadow. It's like there's a shadow on their face. So it just looks very like unpolished. And also Steve's dialogue. He's barely a character at all. He's literally just naming things from the game, 75% to 80% is him saying, oh, there's the golem guy who does, he comes out every Tuesday and eats a steak, and oh, you got to do boxes, and you put stuff on his little table. And then there's one line that is so, like, I can't believe they put this line in the movie, and it's going to be such a memed line for all eternity. I don't even want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but they mention a certain they found like the worst way to mention an important title. In a way, it adds to its ridiculousness. I know I'm defending the movie a lot, but honestly, like, its goal was to be so ridiculously entertaining, and I think it reached those levels. I think it would have gone wrong if they tried to make any part of this serious. I think it would have been a lot more boring, but it wasn't boring ever. I mean, I was laughing throughout the whole movie. There's a joke involving Jack Black and, Jason Momoa flying through the air. And I thought it was one of the funniest things ever. Like, I could not stop laughing. And yeah, I was being a dumb little kid. But dude, that's what the movie was trying to do. I think the other characters, the main character, the little boy, I think he did a great job in portraying the target audience, which is these creative kids who feel like they're too nerdy to fit in at school, so they have their outlets playing Minecraft and stuff. I think a lot of those kids are going to see themselves in that kid, and I think that kid did a great job in performing this character. And his older sister did a good job. And I think the dynamic between the older sister and the brother, obviously it's not developed far enough for it to be emotional, but I think it's just enough so that there's at least some emotional weight to it, where siblings watching it together are going to feel it, are going to feel how important that relationship is. So I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. Of course, this isn't a masterpiece. This isn't going to, change things. I honestly think it's going to make a lot of money in the box office because kids are going to love it. Me personally, I rated a 7 out of 10. It's an enjoyable watch, and I wouldn't mind watching it again, at least pieces of it. I give a Minecraft movie a 7 out of 10.